Okay, welcome back to the Missing Details Scale Modeling channel. So here we are, continuing to try and complete the scratch building of these leading edge flaps on the AZ Models K14. So I've got some different plastic cards here. This stuff's super cheap but dead handy to have in stock. I think I bought my first packet 6 years ago, and probably used one sheet. This is 0.2 ml, so I think it's going to be the best option. So what we're trying to create is we're just trying to create the internal detail of the in the space between the leading edge flap and the wing. So I think that what all we're going to do is quite simply I'm going to just check on this grid matrix. Our plastic card is fairly square, which it doesn't look like it is. Okay. So I'm going to get my homemade parallel cutter, which is just the internals from a safety knife. And I use these for cutting photo etch, so the blade's not overly sharp. Well, it is dead sharp, but it's got a few nicks out, so I'm just going to use the best part. Right, so when I line it up, I'm kind of using the inside of the edge to line it up, because if you just put it on the line, it's too broad to see if it is actually lined up. Like so. Obviously I can't see the line, so I'm just gonna. Okay, that doesn't cut great. Okay, so new blade needed. The reason I don't overly plan these videos is because I want to see you watching me in real time solve the problems I come across. That's the whole point of it. I'm not worried about polish performance. I want you to see me not losing my shit and just carrying on with how I'm going to problem solve. We've all been there when stuff don't go right and you start throwing your toys out the window or out the pram. But for some reason with scale modeling, I find that I enjoy the problem solving, and it keeps me in a zen-like state. That sounds a bit too pretentious, but that's what it is. Right, so I'm just pushing down parallel with that and see how that's cut perfectly. Now, obviously I can't see this in the line. I can see how it runs out here, but so that's why I'm just trimming bit by bit. And it needs to resemble a square edge, really. But having me plastic card in stock with a nice square edge isn't going to be a bad thing. Right, so I can see that the lines come through here. So now, actually, if I just line that up, inside that line. That should be near square. Perfect. So this is just from a safety knife. I normally have one around, but I don't know where it is. Yeah, normally these have a spring on, they move out of the housing, so you can cut packaging on that. They're a lovely sharp, almost razor sharp blade. Okay. Probably keep those little bits of scraps because they're always quite useful for stuff. So now, what I'm going to do, let's get the what I'm going to do now, a bit of Mr. Finn, Tamio extra thin. So I cut this ridge on the back, so I'm just going to literally just sit that on there. So we can just run. I'm not flooding it. I've wiped the brush as it came out of the pot there, so it's just enough to tack it on. Okay. I'm just holding that way so I can just press it down. Okay, so I'm quite confident he's in the right position now. This is the back side, so I'm not going to damage it. My number 3 tool. Okay, so there we have it. Just adjust it a little bit there. I can always trim off any excess. May as well drip a little bit of extra glue on there. Give that a few moments to dry. So this is, I might just mention, this is my number 3 tool. Number 3 is the is the league ranking for them, or no other. So I have number 1, number 2, number 3. This is number 3. This is my Meng by Display angled flat tweezers. Now it's not your traditional flat tweezers where, like these, where it's where they're really quite, it's almost like a screwdriver. These are only just flat. The beauty of that is they're so much more intricate in terms of where you can get them into, and because they're flat and rounded, they're not going to scuff up any paint job or anything, damage anything. I've got the pointed ones. The pointed ones you could probably stick straight through your finger and straight into the surface detail of a model. But they're good for certain things, but these are used for not just for tweezers, but for little pointy things for adjusting parts have just stuck on, for pushing things down, because they've got like this smooth bent edge. You can roll that onto things. I use these for decaling, everything. Hence these have got the they got the league table quite a bit, and these are now number 3 in my tool collection. And also the weight really helps to steady the hand. Okay, so that should be dry. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to so I want to do another one and the other one, so I may as well try and cut it fairly parallel. I'm just going to do this bit by eye. I don't need loads, but More's better than too little. Okay, so the idea is I'll just keep trimming this back. We put a step in here, so there's something for it to attach to. And it's not going to be the thickness. It's not the thickness of the plastic itself. We cut in a step, so a little more true to scale. And the idea is we just trim that back until it's happy where it is. Glue them in. So now for the next one. Just a little bit of glue just so it tacks on. Turn them upside down. Just want to make sure he's pressed in. Bit more glue. Yeah, that's all good. So we can now go ahead and glue top surface. Okay, give that a second to dry. We start looking now at the fit on this one. No, I say the reason I haven't glued these together yet is because I want to glue the fuselage halves together and then almost glue these in separately so I can adjust the wing root basically. I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but for the sake of holding out and just planning it, I'm just gonna make sure these edges are clean. Not that it really matters, but I might just stop it from sitting flat. Well, now I'm going to take out that release mark, whatever. It's a little bit proud. Yeah, I could test fit that, see if it's causing a problem, or I could just take it off. Done. Okay. So there's our dry one, which is on the right hand side. So I did a bit more research. You can see I haven't quite finished the light there, but I did a bit more research and the lights were the correct colour. Green being right and red being left. I'm quite not certain. I think there's something to do with, I don't know, is it English planes the other way around or something? Maybe I'm wrong. So I'm just going to trim him back. So I left an excess there just so I can adjust it if needed. He seems like a good tight fit. So I think that's going to be fine. Maybe just a little bit more off that side. Okay, so now we can probably start trimming this down a bit. So we can see how much edge we got. Right, so you could do it being, I think about there is what we want. Okay. I mean, it's only thin plastic card. If I cut too much off, I can just whip the knife along it, cut it off altogether, and start again. Now I think I'm going to use the parallel cutter again. Not too certain. This tool's probably, he's probably about number 5, number 6 in terms of league table. So try that. It's just a dead easy way of getting a parallel line. There's a good friend of mine at a local model club. He actually had a stroke and he now builds models one-handed. I did actually give him one of these. I don't know if he's used it. Just because, as you can see, it's so much easier to cut a parallel line one-handed as opposed to having to use a ruler. And quite often when you use a ruler, the dragging action of the knife will move the plastic underneath. Okay, so you see the material is a bit rough, so I'm just going to put a bit of extra thin just to smooth that out. Oh no, I might as well do the whole lot. Just see, I think I did on that one. Right, so while I wait for that to just dry a second, I can now cut out everyone. I've got a bit more idea. That's the back side, so a bit more idea how much I'm going to need. So I just have the knife tilted away. I put it horizontal. And a bit hard that time. I wasn't sure how to cut, but I had. Okay, I'm just. Okay, so I can see I can probably trim him down a fair bit already. This is the left hand wing. So I left a bit of extra on there just to check. And he's actually. Okay, so I think we've got plenty there. I think what I'll do is I'll probably wait until I've actually put the wings together, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to hold it in that step. But actually, by leaning it forward like this, I could put some glue in there and get it in that step. It's going to sit over nicely and look just the same as that ref, as an example. Here we go. Okay, thanks for joining me. See you in the next one.